Hello, everyone. It's Sunday once again, my favorite day of the week. I hope you're all having a relaxed day after, like a very exciting week, hopefully, because I sure did an amazing week this week. It's like non-stop gig every night of the week, which is how I like my week to be. But yeah, it's now just 1 minute before 2 o'clock in the afternoon here in the UK, which means it's 1 minute before 10 o'clock in the evening in Manila. I hope some of you, like our regular viewers, are still up and watching us live. Welcome to another episode of Ask the Drummer. Um, I mean, this week is actually quite special. It's different. Our guest this week is different from all the other awesome drummers we've had on the show. Today being a Sunday, and also our drummer comes from a gospel background. I thought that's just really fitting, because a lot of us, there's so many people in the whole world who go and celebrate their faith and religion on a Sunday. So it's really really good. And I'm so happy that he said yes to Ask the Drummer, and he's here now. So my dear friends, please welcome Temmy Henry Edwards.
Hi,
Yay!
hi, and thank you so much for having me on today.
Oh no, thank you for saying yes to Ask the Drummer, Temmy. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well, thank you. Just dealing with a little bit of an illness because it's that time of the year in the UK, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I
So, yeah,
know.
yeah. So
Yeah, it's
I've got a
we have
couple
to.
of handy here.
Yeah, we really have to. So like we thought it was winter was already finished, and then it started getting cold again.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Well, it's been a year because I remember it was February when I saw you in Pete Wiley and the Mighty Wars
Yeah, I believe that was Hebden Bridge, if I
Hebden
remember,
Bridge.
remember correctly. Yeah. Oh wow,
Yeah,
time flies.
I
That's
know a year is gone. It was like- that was amazing. That was an
absolutely.
awesome gig. In fact, I think the whole tour was incredible. So
Yeah,
I like.
it was an experience for sure. Absolutely, yeah. That's one way to put it. It's always a lot of fun because I can imagine you know what Pete Wiley's like, so it's always entertaining.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Yeah. Definitely in Hebden Bridge, he was very, very entertaining.
Yeah,
But anyway, so welcome to Ask the Drummer. Episode 161 is all about you, Temmy Henry Edwards. Temmy is a really nice name. I know someone called Temmy, but she's a girl.
right.
She's my daughter's friend in high school. So it can be either a boy or a girl's name.
Yeah, it's quite unisex. It's only half the name as well. There's different variations to it. My full first name is actually Temmy Topper, but it's easier
Oh,
to
I
just
see.
pronounce Temmy.
Just yeah, yeah. Just put Temmy.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us a bit about your background information, like where were you born, and also what was it like when you were growing up, that sort of
Um,
thing.
yeah, for sure. I'll try and make this as simple as possible. So I was born and raised in Nigeria. I moved to the UK when I was 15.
Okay.
Um, so I pretty much lived my childhood in Nigeria, secondary school, primary school. I didn't really start playing drums until I was 14, so probably about a year just before I moved to the UK.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, so when I got into sixth form, I got into a little bit more of music. But this is where, obviously, growing up in Nigeria as well, like um, being a Christian, going to church was a really, really big thing. It was part of our culture. Um,
yeah,
so
yeah,
even moving to the UK, I was still involved in that part of my life. You know, going to church, being very
yeah,
involved in the music side of things as well. So when I started my sixth form studies at 16, I got into a bit more music, and I met one of my closest friends today actually, and he introduced me to his church. It's called New Wine Church in London,
yeah, yeah.
um, and that's where I really started to develop myself as a musician. Really, I don't know if you have any experience with like gospel music, but it's
No.
definitely really good. it feels like a step up in terms of the amount of work they expect from you and the amount of like the level of perfection, I guess, let's say, um,
Yeah,
that you sort of have to live up to. So it was quite a developing experience for me, and that's when I really started to get into music before
yeah,
moving to
yeah.
Manchester.
So that's in London because you're based in Manchester now. So when
Yeah,
you moved to the UK, you were in London.
yeah. So I lived in London for about 8 years before moving to Manchester.
All right. What
Yeah.
was it? So what was it like from Nigeria? Because I'm originally from the Philippines,
Right,
so I can relate to that. So like coming, from a different country and then going to the UK and stuff. So what was
absolutely.
it like for you from Nigeria and then moving to London?
It was definitely I want to say a culture shock in some respect, but I also think being young, obviously being a teenager when I moved here, it was a
Yeah.
lot easier for me to adapt to to the lifestyle here. To be honest, even from the secondary school that I went to in Nigeria, which was a private school, it was, I don't know, most of my friends and I have always had a discussion of going to study abroad. So it was something we always looked forward to. So moving
All
here,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so even moving here, it was like, okay, cool, we're doing it now. But it was really easy to adapt because
Yeah.
of the, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, Aiden overall said sound and picture very good. Aiden is our tech support, so that's
Right.
a good thing. Um, Gospel. You asked me if I'm really I've got any experience about
Yeah.
gospel music. No, because I used to go to church. I don't go now, but I should do really. But um, I remember, well, in the Philippines, we don't really have like a band. So are you talking about, so like when you go to church, there's an actual band playing
Oh,
the
absolutely,
instruments
yeah.
like drums and
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a full. So the church I went to in London, it was like a full-on production. It was more closer to the American style, like gospel church scene.
yeah.
So we had about, at some point there was about 200 people in the mass choir. We had about four different bands going. That's including the youth bands as well. So yeah, there was a lot going on. They used to bring in artists from America to come and
Oh
perform
wow.
for major events. So yeah, it was serious, serious
Yeah.
work.
Well, this is really strange for me because I don't know if you've heard, but like some people say, and I know for a fact. I think do you remember the film Footloose?
Yeah.
I think it's based on real life that a minister, actually banned music because they're saying that it's like the devil's creation or something. So,
Well, that's an interesting one.
so dance, music and dancing were banned. And I remember that film very well. I mean, I'm a big fan of music, but, and I never, for me, I never really think that it's because music is so beautiful. It must be
Yeah.
from God, so it's got to be
Right.
from
Right.
God. So what do you think of that? I mean,
Um,
um,
I don't know. It's an interesting one. I think everyone's got their own different perspective on things like that, especially when it comes to religion. Um, so I also went to a church where this was growing up in Nigeria as well. I also went to a church where we weren't allowed to use drums. The only instrument we were allowed to play was the keyboard. So there
oh
was, yeah,
yeah,
there was no brass instrument allowed. There was no, shells allowed. It was a really weird situation, but that was all based on what the general overseer of the church believed in.
yeah,
So I,
yeah,
I tend to find that it's a really I don't know, it's a really tricky situation because I personally have a strong connection to music. Over the years, music has done so much for me. I always tell people it's my sort of therapy, especially playing drums. So
yeah,
if someone says to me, music is evil, is this, I'll just be like, well, you know what, do you? But I have my reasons, or I know what it does for me. I know what I get
yeah.
from,
Yeah,
obviously.
I know what you mean. I'm not a musician, but music for me is very, very important in my life. It's done so many wonders. I always say it's actually better than going to see doctors. It's
Absolutely.
like,
Yeah,
it's
no, absolutely. I totally agree. It's
like
medicinal for the soul. That's how I see it.
yeah, yeah. Are you from a musical family?
No, I'm not actually. No, I think I'm the only musician in my family actually.
Oh, okay, so you're the only one who's. But have you always been into drums, or did you try and learn other musical instruments?
I think drums were the first thing that I really got into when I got into music. But
Yeah.
I do play a little bit of keyboards as well. That was something I sort of picked up after I moved to the UK. I dabble a little bit with keyboards. I can play a little bit of that. But this would probably be the two main instruments. Obviously, there's
Yeah.
so much more to learn. Bass is something I want to pick up now as well. So yeah, I think
It's
ideally I'd
drums.
love to play everything, really, but I can't, unfortunately.
When I was doing my script, I googled your name, of course, because well, I always do. I always like at least do a bit of research
Right.
about the guest. So you studied music in Bristol,
Yes, I did. Yeah.
so you obviously had proper drumming lessons.
Yeah, to an extent, yes. But when I started out, it was all self-taught. So I didn't move to Bristol until I was, I think, 21, something like that. So when I moved to Bristol, I'd already been playing drums for a number of years
Yeah,
and gigging professionally as well. So it sort of helped shape my career, but not necessarily the lessons. All that is pretty much just like sitting in the house and like smacking away at practice pads for hours and ends, really.
yeah.
Um,
Is the degree in drums or
so
music?
it was more of an advanced diploma in music production and also music performance as a whole.
Oh,
Not necessarily like an instrument based study.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, because I was all like thinking, do you read like music sheets and
Yeah,
so
I do read.
you
I
can do
do
that?
read music. I do read music. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Because I find that really fascinating actually. Because most drummers, I mean, they play by ear and they don't
right,
really have this sheet music.
right.
So when you played with Pete Wiley and the Mighty War, did you have like sheet music or is it just by?
Oh no, it was all just listening and feeling it. I don't think that kind of set could have survived playing to sheet music because the set usually changed so much.
Yeah,
And this is all just based on what Pete was feeling. So we all kind of just, I don't know. I think every gig changed a little bit. We played it slightly differently every
yeah.
time. So yeah, we never really used sheet music for those.
No, but you do in some sort of like projects that you were into as
Yeah,
well.
I've had to do it a few times. If I'm being honest, I personally do not like it.
You
I do not enjoy it. No, it's so restricting in so many ways, especially like being a musician, you want to be able to express yourself
yeah, yeah,
on gigs. So like having to read it's very strict in the sense of you have to play everything note for note and try and recreate that feel. But I don't. I like to just like be in the moment and like read.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
Well, were you already in a band in Nigeria before coming over, or
No,
just in
actually.
church, just playing in church?
Yeah, sort of. So when I actually left Nigeria, I just started playing drums. This at this point, I was so desperate to learn, but I couldn't find anyone to teach me. So I ended up just going into church and bashing around on the kits until something made sense. So when I
Yeah,
moved to the UK, I was still in that sort of stage of like playing drums. I wouldn't say I could play. It was more I was still curious and finding my way around as a beginner.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I didn't really get into it properly until my second year in sixth form. Really, that was when I really started to dig in.
What was your first band?
My very first band ever. Oh, this was in Bristol as well. Oh my god. Oh, all right. So my very first band ever. It's called Stone Theory. It
Yeah,
was a heavy blues rock band that myself and a few mates actually put together in Bristol while we we're studying. Funny story, I wasn't the original drummer of the band. but
Okay.
we were all studying side by side. And obviously, there's always projects going on around that kind of environment. So I knew what was going on over there. I was mates with the drummer, and he
Okay.
was, yeah. So he happened to be the winner of the Young Drummer of the UK the previous year. So
Oh,
he got,
wow.
yeah, he got a scholarship to Berkeley. So when he left to go to Berkeley, I took over to join the band.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
our very, very first band.
So did you do like original music or is it a covers
Yeah,
band?
no, it was all
Original music.
original stuff. Yeah, all original stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure there are videos on YouTube if I look for it. I'm very late.
But did you release anything or like a
Sorry?
CD? Did you release any album or?
Yeah, there was an EP that was released, I believe. Yeah, finding that is going to be a mission, but yeah, there was definitely an
I don't think it's even on Discogs because I did search for it and it's not because I always look for Discogs because I always think that even the most obscure band there
right.
is you'll find it on Discogs, but I
Yeah,
didn't find anything about like Stone Theory. So how old were you when you were in Stone Theory?
so I was probably about 20. Yeah, I was still 21 at this
Yeah.
point.
And
Still my first year, so
how long did the band last?
probably about 2 years, 3 years. Because at the end of the course, obviously we all had to move separate ways. I moved back to London as well, which made things really, really difficult. But it was, yeah, it was really good, fun 3 years,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially as like a student studying. It felt like we were living the rock and roll lifestyle.
Are you still in touch with them?
Yeah, I'm in touch with some of them. Yeah, I'm definitely in touch with some of them for sure.
Yeah. Any chance of saying, oh, why don't we continue and do it? Maybe.
I don't
A
know.
lot of bands do it though. They sort of like get back together and then.
Oh, yeah, no. But that would involve me having to learn the whole thing again because I can't really remember that. Unless that's terrible.
Well, another one that I discovered that you were in is a band called Takenda. Is that the right way of saying it?
Oh, Tender, yes. Oh,
Takenda.
wow.
And that's like soul and funk. Uh,
Yeah, this was also in Bristol.
Oh, in Bristol as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was
So
also
is
in
it side
Bristol.
by side? Are you doing both?
Yeah, I
Stone
was doing
Theory
both at the time
together?
actually. Yeah, so I think this is my second year in Bristol. I was still in Stone Theory at this point, and the new group I was working with, where we all sort of had very similar taste in music, listening to things like Snarky Puppy, Hiatus Coyote, that kind of neo soul,
Yeah, yeah.
Erica Badu, D'Angelo kind of stuff. And we didn't even want to put a band together. We had like an open day for the institution, and we were asked to just play a tune. But I think they were so impressed. The institution was so impressed. They were like, "Yeah, you should start a band," and that was how Takenda came about. Really, it was really weird. But yeah, I didn't even remember that. Jesus.
Well, I mean, you obviously know how to play all sorts of genres. Play drums and because which one? Because I know there's a big difference between rock drumming and
Yeah, yeah,
jazz drumming. And also, when I had James Brown from UB40, he said that reggae drumming is also very different from
definitely.
all the other kinds. So doing all these and gospel too, like, is that a different kind of drumming as well, like with gospel music?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say gospel is very similar in some respect to, like, I've had a few people say it sounds like a musical theatre music, basically. Like, very very busy. There's a lot of syncopated lines going on. There's a lot of pushes and stabs. It's very production heavy. Big vocals, big fills. It's very very similar to that.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, having to learn to do that is a different kind of work because you have to be sharp, like musically. You
yeah,
have to be attentive, like be able to communicate because things change very quickly as well. With gospel drumming, it's a lot of feel. So for example, you'd have in a band, you'd have a musical director, usually be the keyboardist. So
Okay.
if we're playing a praise song or a really like high energy tune, we're doing something, and he feels in that moment that, oh, this would be nice. He'd call it on a talkback mic, so everyone is playing to in ears. He would have a mic that we can communicate with, but no one else can hear. So he'd call whatever it is he wants us to do, and we have to catch that at the right time. So that's kind of the level of attention to detail, and just being able to communicate and read the room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's definitely a different step to the whole
Yeah.
thing. But as you say, every genre brings a different kind of challenge.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't,
Do you
I
have
don't.
any particular favorite to do?
Yes, funk would definitely be one of my favorites. Obviously, gospel. I think my heart has always been with gospel. That's going to be my number one. But funk, yeah, funk. I do enjoy playing funk. I enjoy playing a lot of neo soul and jazz.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I tend to play a lot of like rock stuff nowadays. I do enjoy it. It's not necessarily my go-to, but I enjoy how it stretches me creatively because I have to
Yeah.
sort of play differently. Um,
Um, you're now part of this SWJ group. So can you tell us more about? Is it like a collective, or is it just the name of the band?
well, SWJ Group is, yes, it is a collective in a sense, but it is also the name of the band. So it actually is the name of the guy that put the band together. He's one of my best mates. Um, and the reason I say it's also a collective is the main core of the band is six members. We've
Yeah.
got two guitarists, a bassist, vocals, and drums. But we
Yeah.
also add in percussions and horns for bigger gigs. So
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
had gigs where we've had to basically have like a full-on 11-piece band. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
so
That's folk band, isn't it? Like it.
yeah, it's definitely a funk band. It has a feel of that 70s funk, but a little bit of like with a psychedelic vibe. The way I like to describe it, especially to my mate, the guy that started this, is I say to him, it sounds like something you'd hear in a movie like Shaft, right? Like, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's how I describe it.
Yeah. And apparently, I mean, again on Google when I was googling, you supported Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah, yeah. Oh wow.
When was this? Because I saw Sugar Hill Gang in Manchester. I think it was, I don't know, a few years ago now.
Right. Oh, this was a while ago. This is
Yeah.
probably, yeah, it's probably 2020. I want to say 2019. Yeah, probably in 2019, just before COVID, I think.
Okay.
That was such an interesting gig. Oh my god.
I love Sugar Hill Gang. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're great. Even seeing them, for me especially seeing them live, I had to like just control my excitement because it was like, wow, I listened to you. What the hell are you talking about?
As I remember, I was 10 years old when I heard that. The rap,
Yeah,
that rap thing, and I also met Master G at the age.
yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I don't
I know. It's crazy. Yeah, it's one of those things that it happens once in a lifetime, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So when you supported them, did you get starstruck, or do you get starstruck when you?
You know what? I think I do, but I think I have a good handle on it. Because I don't know. Again, I go with five. So even if I think someone's a star, if I don't necessarily get a good vibe from them, it's difficult for me to be able to build a rapport with them. So
Yeah,
obviously, like with these guys, meeting them, it was exciting, especially the first time. It was really nice to meet, and they were really cool as well. Like
yeah,
they were really inquisitive about our stuff, like the stuff that we played. "Oh, I really like your band. They took the time to listen to our tracks, which is a big
yeah.
thing. So, um, yeah, meeting them was really exciting, but I think I managed to handle that. The biggest one for me would probably be meeting David Garibaldi um, with Tower of Power.
Oh, right, yeah,
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 because we opened for them as well. I
yeah.
think in that same year, but meeting him that was really difficult because I really really had to contain my excitement. like he's one of the people I listened to or watched when I was learning to play. So like he really impacted my career. So actually meeting him and he was like, "Yo, you sound good." I'm like, yeah, that's probably the biggest one for me.
Yeah. So do you ask for photos and
I usually
you
don't know.
oh,
I definitely got a video with David Body though. I got a video with him, and I still got that today. Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
I had to get a video. I had to get a video.
So what's happening with SWJ group now? Are you still gigging or are you have
Um,
for
At
a
the
while?
moment, not necessarily. So we've actually been working on releasing our album. We have an EP out at the moment, but we've been finalizing the mix and master on our album, which should
Yeah.
be coming out hopefully within the next few months. And once that's out, we've got a whole catalog of stuff to actually record as well. So I think the next stage is recording the next album, really.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be working on, and then
Yeah.
from there we're going to start focusing on actually digging into
Yeah.
things.
So you're gonna tour the new album once it's released.
That's hopefully the goal. Yeah, that's definitely the goal.
I'm gonna ask you about Pete Wiley though, because that's where I saw you. I saw you there.
Right, okay.
So, because I also found out on Google that you played with so many, incredible musicians. Being because you're a session drummer, you are a session drummer, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you play with so many bands or musicians. So Pete Wiley, when you got the call to do it, because I remember seeing him. I think it was 2 years ago that he had a different band altogether. He
Right.
had Chris Joyce as the drummer.
Right.
So when he announced that he's touring last year, and then it's again it's a different, so like different band
Yeah.
members. So what was it like when you received the call saying that you're going to be playing drums for Pete Wiley?
Well, it's yeah, it was a bit of a weird one because to start off with, I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea who Wiley was. I had to go and do my homework. Yeah, but the
No.
thing is, I'm young. I am young. I'm sorry. I'm like the time that he's from. I'm still learning a lot about like the music from that time. So I had no idea who he was. I was like, sure, but I think I was more excited about the opportunity to do something different. It was more when I listen to his stuff, it's
Yeah.
definitely different to what I usually play. So I think I was more excited about, really digging into playing something else and like challenging myself and pushing myself. So yeah, no, I was straight into it. As soon as I got the call, I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. Yeah, it was exciting. But yeah, it was an
So you
exciting
didn't know any of the songs
time.
beforehand? Oh
Yeah.
my god! Well, you did really well because I think you're amazing.
Oh my gosh, no, yeah, I had to do some homework.
How long did it take you to learn all the songs, especially "Heart is Big as Liverpool"?
You know what? It didn't take that long because I think when I got the call, we didn't get the set list until probably a week before rehearsal, which was about 2, 3 weeks before the actual first day of the gig.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so myself and Stephen, who's on guitar, so
yeah.
Stephen who played guitar is actually SWJ himself. Like he's
Oh,
Stephen Wilson.
Stephen Wilson.
Yes, so he's
Oh
the
my god! Oh my god! SWJ Group is his, but so
yeah,
is Stephen Wilson Jr.'s group. Oh
yes,
my
it
god!
is. Yeah,
I didn't
I know, I
realize.
know, crazy, isn't it?
Okay,
Crazy, isn't it?
he's doing Avid Fan at the
Yes, he
moment.
is as well. Yeah, he's got that going as well. He's a busy,
Gosh,
yeah, he's a busy guy.
he's
He's a very very busy guy. Um, oh yeah, it was crazy. I think so. Myself and Steven actually got together to do some homework and just
yeah,
go through some of the tunes. We managed to sort of get it right, but everything came together on the first major rehearsal that we have with Wiley, because then he came in with his ideas that he really wanted for the songs. But I don't think it took too long. It was easy to sort of like sit into the tunes. They had a certain feel, so you couldn't overplay them or you couldn't underplay them. You had to just play them right. But it was really easy to sit into them, so it didn't really take that long to actually get to
okay.
it.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Heart as Big as Liverpool. I think the original drummer was Mike Joyce of the Smiths.
Right, right, yeah, yeah. I remember
So,
you told me that. Yeah. You definitely told me that.
yeah. No, I'm always fascinated by drummers who so like fill in
Yeah. Mm,
to do these sort of like gigs,
mm,
and it's not really their own so like songs or anything, but then they
mm.
play it amazingly. And I think it's, and then it only takes not a long time to actually get the drum parts of those like those songs that you played.
No, no, you know that comes with experience. I can't say it's something that happened overnight. That just comes with experience, really. It goes
Yeah,
back to the whole gospel thing as well. That definitely helped with being able to develop a skill like that.
yeah. But I thought you felt you were a bit shy as well. But I suppose if you've got Pete Wiley as your front man, you know, you just sort of like sit there at the back,
Yes,
let him let him do all the talking.
yeah, that's how I like it. It's a weird one. I don't necessarily get nervous doing gigs, but I don't necessarily like attention as well. So when I'm sat in the back and he's doing all that and he's like, Temmy, this, I'm just like, no, I just want to hide behind my cymbals. There's a reason why I set my cymbals high, so I can hide my face behind them. No one can see me. I can just groove away. I make funny faces when I play as well, so it doesn't really help.
Yeah, that's you. It's good that you mentioned all those symbols being high because sometimes I when I go to a gig, I always make sure that I position myself where I can see the drummer.
Right.
But the one thing that I always forget is how high those symbols
Yeah.
are. You can't see their faces. And you know when you go see it's like trying to take a photo of the drummer or take a video of the you can't see them. It's like,
It's always hard to get a good picture of a drummer, like, and it's because of the symbols, because like you can't get a good angle wherever
yeah,
you.
yeah.
It's really weird.
Unless you're the official photographer and then you can actually go on the
Yeah,
stage.
exactly. Get right underneath him and get the right angle.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it. Just get under the snare and just look up in there. There's like a little gap. There's always a little gap in there that you can sort of just look in.
So you don't subscribe to the thing that because I always think that drummers should be at the front.
Oh, no,
You don't like that
I'm
though.
happy being at the back. No, no, I'm happy being at the back. It's not about me. No.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, some drummers enjoy that. But to be honest, I've seen like a lot of bands recently where the drummer is the front man. He's like the
yeah,
lead singer as well as obviously the drummer of the band, and he's
yeah,
usually set up in the front and everyone else around him. And I think that's really cool because it's bringing a bit more attention to everyone else in the band, and especially the main rock of the band. Like no one ever cares about the drummer. They just hear a good tune and think, "Oh, the guitar sounds cool." No one thinks that groove is solid. You know what I mean? So it's nice to give the drummer
yeah.
a bit of attention. But I think personally, I'm just not. Yeah, I'm not
You're
really.
just happy to be there at the back of it. It's like
No,
just
in the band.
playing and
Time,
concentrating.
and that's
Yeah.
it.
Well, last Monday, no, not Tuesday, I think it was. There was a support band called Gans. I think they're from Birmingham or something. There's
Right.
only two of them, the drummer and the guitarist. So
Wow.
the drummer is actually at the front,
Oh,
and he's the one singing. And I thought, wow, this is so cool.
that is definitely.
Because I mean, they did that in I think in the 70s or 60s when they had the drummers. Because I've seen clips from Top of the Pops where they
Right.
had the drummer right at the front, and then
Yeah.
so
I guess it was something they were trying back then, but why not? Why not? Absolutely, go for it. Give the drummer
yeah,
something, as they
yeah,
say.
yeah. It's a shame because Pete Wiley's doing a tour again this year, but again, he's got a different set of musicians, whereas
Yeah, he's got a different band of time as well. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I think that's what he likes. He likes to just get every
change it up.
tour
Yeah,
different.
he enjoys keeping it fresh. And to be honest, as you said before, when you say like it's nice to see other drummers come and play these songs that people have been listening to for however long and bring a different style and different vibe to it.
Yeah,
I guess that's one of the things as well. He enjoys keeping it fresh and bringing something else you know, to to his music. So
yeah, yeah. Because he's always, I think he's always had like loads of like every time you see him, it'll be
Uh,
different drummer.
yeah, yeah. So it's something that I've heard as a reputation before. Even when I got the job, I was like, someone said to me that, yeah, he's known for just like going through musicians. It's like, well, it's fair enough. If he enjoys it,
Yeah.
he enjoys it. Yeah.
Well, what are you like? Because when I ask you about do you get starstruck and things like that. Well, what about fans who go up to you and ask you for photos? Like, well, I did. Yeah, ask for a photograph and signature. So, are you
Oh,
cool with that? Are you okay?
I
Are you
mean,
okay with
I think I'm trying. I don't know how to navigate that necessarily. If you look at that picture that we took, you see how sort of, I don't know. I look so shy. Uh, I I don't know how to act around things like that. But I do like when people come up to me and are able to just have a conversation about,
that? Yeah,
the drumming, what they felt really worked for the song. I'm
yeah,
always happy to talk to people about drumming, especially
yeah,
like people that know me know that if you start talking to me about drums, I will not stop. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's the best way to get me chatting. So I mean, if they then decide to use that as a sneaky way to get a signature or something, then yeah, I'd be happy to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, because I do like having photos with drummers because I don't know. I mean, I tried playing drums and it's not for me. Uh,
Really?
it's not really. It's not for me. I'd rather watch them.
Wait, so
Uh,
how long? Let's actually let's switch it up a bit. How long ago was the last time you played drums?
oh no, it was like in the 90s when I tried. Because I used to work in the UAE in the Middle East, and then
Right.
there's these American guys who approached me and said, okay, you're going back to the Philippines. We're gonna start a band. When you come back, well, when you go to the Philippines, learn how to play the drums. When you come back, you'll be a drummer. And I thought, whoa, this is like a big dream come true. I would love to do that. So I did go for lessons, but it's not for me.
Oh wow,
I'd rather just watch them. Which comes to mind because I know that you teach drums.
a little bit.
You Yeah, you do tuition, drum tuition.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So I want to ask, do you think anyone can play the drums? I mean, I can't. I really can't do it.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I think you can. I think anyone can, to be honest. It just takes a little bit of stubbornness for one. Like stubborn dedication is something you need because the drums it really involves a lot of coordination.
Yeah,
Unlike
I think that's why I haven't got code.
oh, honestly, it's something that you have to learn over time as well. I'm still learning to really like have independence over like my limbs and my coordination and things like that. But the reason a lot of people shy away from it or think it's really difficult is getting through that first hurdle. And the thing is, once you can play an actual groove that sounds good to you, that's all you need because you keep thinking, okay, how can I make this sound even better? And you just need a little bit of that curiosity and that stubborn dedication to actually want to learn it. Like, apart from that, it's easy. It's easy. It's easy.
No, because when I go and see them, I remember like when the stage is very high,
Mm.
and then you can actually see the bass drum,
Right, right,
and then you can see like when they step on.
right, right. Well, you can see,
There we go, boom, boom,
yeah,
boom.
yeah, yeah. You can see the head going through.
Sometimes I will sort of like try and get the beat and
Yeah.
try to follow it, and I can't. It was like, God, this is so hard, and that's the reason why I can't play the drums because I can't even sort of like
Oh, come on.
what
Yeah,
I'm trying to
keep going. Keep going. Don't give up. Honestly, give yourself a year. Yeah, just give yourself a year, which is like after that year, if you decide that you still feel like you're not into it, then you can stop
say.
it. I say take some time out and just really dedicate some time into learning things that you want to learn in drum. And just see what
Yeah,
happens. Just see what happens. Trust
yeah,
me.
and I think another reason is because I always think that drummers are so cool, and it's just it's very natural. Don't you think that it's like really natural for drummers to they don't have to work hard to be cool. As soon as they hit those two, as soon
Yeah.
as they hit it, it's just oh my god, it's so cool. But when I tried it, I just felt so awkward. It's like this is not going well.
Oh man, you have to embrace the call. You have to embrace it.
So how often do you do tuition? Is that like a regular thing for you? Or?
Yes and no. It's another thing I don't necessarily. I wouldn't say I don't enjoy doing it. It's just I don't. I've always thought I don't. I didn't know how to really like explain things to people for them to really understand it. It's
Yeah.
why I'm really picky with people I teach. So I only have one main student. I've been teaching them for about 3 years now.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but
Is it one to one or online
yeah,
or
the
face to
one to
face?
one.
Yeah, face to
Yeah,
face. Yeah,
it's a face to face thing.
yeah.
Generally, I avoid teaching. If people ask me, I tell them no. It takes a lot for me to be like, "Hey, you know what, I'll teach you. I'll do something." But
Yeah, yeah. So when you're not touring or you're not gigging,
yeah.
um, so what keeps you busy apart from doing this drumming or drum tuition?
Oh right. I mean, I do recordings as well. I'm always in the studio or rehearsing. So, for example, this year I'm working with a new agency with a few tribute tours coming up. Doing Celine, Manilow, and Elton John. So I've got like quite a bit of material to learn for that. It starts in April, but I've got well 30 worth of songs to learn, and that's including the production and everything with rehearsal. So a lot of my time goes into actually
Wow.
prepping for big gigs. If I'm
Yeah.
not doing anything like that, I'm usually coding. I do enjoy a bit of coding as well, a bit of IT. Um,
All right.
yeah, I enjoy a bit of coding. I'm actually doing a course at the moment, trying to finish off a full stack development course.
Yeah.
And when I'm doing that, I try to just relax with some anime.
Yeah. Okay. Do your colleagues know that you're, like you're a drummer, that you're an awesome drummer?
Oh, I wouldn't go as far as saying awesome. A decent drummer, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, no, they do know that I play drums. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they do know.
Do you get recognized when you go out?
No, I don't think so.
No.
No, I actually don't think so. No, it's not
Oh.
something that happens. I mean, I don't necessarily gig around Manchester as much. Most of my gigs are usually outside of Manchester, so
Oh, I see. Okay.
yeah, I don't really. Obviously, there's a pool of like musicians in Manchester that you see and
Yeah.
you think, "Wait, I know you, I know you, I know you." It literally happened last Wednesday. Went to a rehearsal. A drummer that I'd known for years through Facebook, never met in person. I met him there for the first time. I was like, "Dude, I know you from somewhere." He was like, "Wait, I know you from." It's things like that, obviously, that happen more. Um,
Yeah. Well, I suppose in places like Manchester and Liverpool and Glasgow, there's so many musicians around anyway that, sometimes you just say, okay, you're a musician, so okay, I'm a musician as well.
yeah,
But I mean, with me, because I'm such a fangirl, every time I see you, like, go to a place and then you see someone, it's like, oh my god, is that him?
ah, that's, that is funny.
But how do you react to that? Say you're just walking around and then someone recognized you and then wanted to chat to you about you and have a photo and say, are you okay with it?
Yeah, no, to be honest, I think yeah, I wouldn't turn anyone away.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that.
yeah,
No, no, not at all.
yeah,
It's quite flattering, but obviously, I prefer for it not to be like a main thing. I don't want to be a celebrity walking around the street and be like, oh yeah, yeah, I know you. No, obviously not. But if I ever came across someone who was like, I remember you from this gig 2 years ago, I'm like, oh, you know what? Appreciate that. Nice. I'm happy to
yeah.
have a conversation. Yeah, definitely have a conversation with them.
Yeah, I'm not always so like, when I see someone. Although yesterday, last night I was in Preston, when I saw the guy who's the roadie of this band that
Right.
was playing. and I recognized him, and I thought, where did I see him? And then
Mm.
I remembered where I saw him, so I came up to him. I said, "Aren't you the band? Aren't you the guy who played in this such thing?" And they said, "Oh yeah." I said, "What are you doing here?" And
Oh,
he said that he's he sometimes roadie for other bands,
yeah. I think that's
drive.
cool. I think situations like that, absolutely. I think that's really cool. Someone remembers you from like something you did 2 years ago. Oh my days, that's cool.
I didn't ask for a photograph though, because it's not him playing. So I always thought like okay, I
Uh,
should just ask for photos of the bands that are actually on stage.
wow. I'll give him some love as well. He deserves some love.
I mean, sometimes the thing about it is I have to be careful because I remember there was an occasion when someone said to me, "Oh, there's that guy there. He used to be in the band, you
Right.
know." And I said, "Oh, really?" And then he mentioned the band that I loved when I was a teenager. So I got really excited, of
Mm.
course, and everything. So I asked for a photograph, and then it turned out it wasn't him; that it was just because because I wasn't here in the 80s. I was in the Philippines, so I didn't
Right.
really know what they look like. I know
Mm-mm.
the music, but not or even if
Yeah.
I saw the photos from when they were young, I don't know what they would look
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So now I'll make sure that they're actually on stage. I
Before
saw
actually
them,
attempted it.
yeah, I saw them play on stage before I asked for a photograph.
That is funny. That is funny.
No, it's just something I just love doing it. I suppose it's because when I was young, I never had the chance to go
Mm.
to gigs. So like I've seen Pete Wiley a few times,
Wow.
and
How many
he
times have you seen him now?
God, probably 6, 7 times now. Last year they had them bridge, and hopefully I'm gonna go and see him again this year.
Yeah. Right.
The Mighty War and Pete Wiley, they were big in the Philippines.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm quite surprised that you've actually not heard of him, but
Mm.
yeah. So yeah, he was really big, and I thought when I saw him for the first time, oh my god, it's like a legend, for
Wow.
me.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I can understand. I can understand that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So sometimes I feel like maybe the musicians don't want to be, especially if they're not really playing, that they don't
Right.
want to be approached, and they don't want fans. So like,
Wow. Right.
but with you, you're okay with it.
No, no, absolutely. Yeah.
In
I don't
case I
see
see
why.
you in Manchester,
Ah, oh my day. If you see me anywhere, just shout me out. Say, Temmy, I know you from somewhere. I'll be like, yo, it's all right.
that's very good. So, apart from the thing that you're doing in April,
Right.
any other gigs that you got
I'm more focused on a lot of recordings this year.
this
So
year? Yeah.
yeah, so I put a project together myself and a couple of mates. So we're doing it's more like a jazz and neo soul kind of vibe. So
Oh,
we're working on writing just like a mini album and releasing something at the end of the year. So
yeah.
I'm doing a lot of that at the moment. I'm also in another project that I joined sometime last year, also with a couple of mates. That's got a bit more of a soul funkish with a
Oh,
sprinkle of jazz
yeah.
to it. So yeah, I've got that going at the moment, and we're recording. What in the middle of recording
Yeah.
our EP as well. So this year is more a lot of like studio work for the first half of it, and then the second half is pretty much like gigging for the rest of the year, really.
And how do people find out about you? Are you very active on social media?
Excuse me. Yeah, not as much. Instagram probably a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, I've got. I try to stay active on social media. I think I'm just terrible with social media in general. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I guess I'm not for the social media age, but
Yeah.
I do try to stay active. I post some stories and post every now and then.
Yeah.
But usually, most people, it's usually word of mouth. So people who've worked with me before usually recommend me for other gigs.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
or something that I find and obviously put my name forward to do. Like the new agency I'm working with this year, actually, I remember applying for a position with them 3 years ago. Didn't hear anything back, and then this year they hit me up because there's a mate of mine who's working with them, and I kind of got a recommendation through that. Um, so I think a lot of it is just word of mouth and just people recommending
yeah.
them.
But don't you think it's really important for musicians and bands as well to be active on social media, to have a social media presence? Because nowadays that's how you find out about things, isn't it?
No, absolutely, you're very
Yeah,
correct. It's a great way to reach people for sure. Um, if you've got the problem is it takes time and effort, and I don't think people realize how much time and effort it takes to really get like a really decent social media content, like to
yeah,
keep
yeah,
people active as well. What I find is when I'm going on a gig, I think to myself, "Oh, I should record a video just to get some content out there." But by the time I'm done setting up, sound checking, changing, getting a little rest time, I've totally forgotten about recording the video. And then I play the gig, have a great time, and I'm like, I really should have recorded that. So sometimes it's like you really need to take the time out to like plan, you know, getting content out there. It's great, but it requires a lot of effort. If
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That is true. Yeah, because when I was trying to find photos from the Pete Wiley gig in Hebden
mm,
Bridge, or even just during the tour, I
mm,
couldn't really find one that's with the bands. I mean, I
right,
found one. I think it's the SWJ group,
right,
like a really good photo with all the members of the band. But with
yeah,
Pete Wiley, and I thought, and mine, because I was so like, I mean, I didn't really have a decent photo of all the band members in Hampton
right,
Bridge. So I thought, no, I'll just use whatever is there.
mm.
And most of it was just, it's, I think it's not from you, but it's from Google. I think I got the photos from Google or something. So, yeah, which is good enough. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there's a few in there.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I've got four more regular questions that I always ask
Okay.
our guests. So the first one is, do you twirl? Because I don't remember seeing you twirling
All
when
right.
you were, even when you're
Yeah.
doing like maybe a funk.
I know, right? Well, a little stick to a. I definitely don't. No, I don't actually. Good point.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be quite interesting to work out into like a groove or something.
yeah, yeah. Because sometimes there are like gaps.
Yeah,
See, like maybe just a few seconds or like gaps before you actually
yeah,
hit
it's
it.
like,
It's always nice when you go boom and then boom.
yeah, no, I'm gonna consider that. I'm definitely gonna add that to my repertoire. A little stick
Yeah,
to
you
it.
should. Yeah, I think you should do that. I
Yeah,
always think that you've got to entertain as well, even though you're just you're at the back. It's always nice because fans do look at the drummers.
yes,
They
yes.
do. So and also another one that I wanted to ask is because recently, well, it was last year. So a drummer did the point. Do you do that? Do you point?
Oh,
You're like,
I've done that a couple of times for sure. Yeah, I've definitely done that a couple of times. Oh my days.
that
Mm,
is good as well because it's like acknowledging the fans.
yeah,
When you
yeah.
do that, when you point.
No, fair enough. That you know what? These are really great. I'm gonna add these to permanently. Absolutely. Mm. Listen,
Oh, that's good.
no.
But, okay, the next question is drumming heroes. Do you have any
Ooh,
drumming heroes?
this is a difficult one for me because the list is almost endless. A lot of them are very modern drummers. So I'll start with one of my all-time favorites, Calvin Rogers. He's a gospel drummer. He used to play for R. Kelly back in the day. He plays for a lot of like gospel names now, basically. He
Oh,
plays
really?
with the Isley Brothers as well. Actually, he's been playing with them for years.
Really?
Um,
Wow.
who else? Larnell Lewis. He's a funk. He's more of a jazz drummer. I call him a jazz drummer with a heavy, funky feel. But he plays with Snarky Puppy and what's his name now? this guy's trio. Is it trio? I can't remember his name now, but I know he's working with a few projects at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, if I had to add a few more, I'd add Matt Gartzka. He's a prog metal drummer.
Oh, right.
He plays with Animals as Leaders, and he does like a lot of other side projects as well. Great drummer. My main reason for enjoying his playing is he does a lot of like metric modulation kind of stuff, and I really really enjoy it. It's like a bit nerdy, like when it comes to that. But yeah, I enjoy
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
If I had to pick one more, I
Like,
don't know.
yeah. So you're more into sort of like the funk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely funk.
yeah,
Even with the prog metal, like it's got some element of funk in it, but I just enjoy the nerdiness of that basically. But I
yeah,
think generally, I like a good groove, something that gets me bopping, something that gets you moving.
yeah,
I guess you call it funk, yeah.
yeah. But what about your drum kit? Is it uh, like? I mean, I've seen drum kits that's just
Right,
really basic, and they still make a lot of like a lot of noise.
right,
And then sometimes, like especially if it's a very famous band,
right.
you see like amazing so like individual things, and sometimes I think, did they really use all of the things surrounding the basic drum kit or something? So what's yours like? Is it, do you like having all sorts of things, and like do you have a cowbell?
Oh, you know, I'd love to get a cowbell. That's something that I'm missing. Um, but generally, I think my setup changes depending on what I'm playing. I think my main setup it's basic. I call it basic. Yeah, it's a four piece. So I've got a rack tom, a small rack tom there. I've got a floor tom, obviously snare and kick drum, and
Yeah.
probably two crashes. I like to have a stack. Not a lot of people do stacks. Like a cymbal stack.
Oh
It-
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, I like to have a cymbal stack there, and a splash, and obviously a ride, and that's pretty much my setup.
yeah,
Um, but if I'm gonna spruce it up, obviously I'll have a complete rack tom setup and probably two extra cymbals, but that's pretty much it.
yeah.
Really. Yeah.
Do you also have like some kind of, I've seen drummers where they have like keyboards, some not keyboards, but some kind of like a computer thing that they can press and something like that. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, is it? Are you talking about the sample pads?
Yeah, yes, yeah, yeah. Do
Right,
you
right,
have
right.
that as well?
Oh, right, yeah. So I do work with sample pads as well. Yeah, yeah.
So
That
yeah, sample pads.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
definitely that is really handy. There was a video I watched the other day of a drummer using it in a rock gig, and it was the most hilarious thing ever. Because I think they were playing like a really really cool song, and they had like a brief moment of a stop in it,
yeah,
and he used the sample pad to play the sound of of a quacking duck right in between and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful, and that really inspired me. So I might start doing that in all my sets now. Who knows?
Oh, well, Aiden said that he's a big fan of soul and funk, and the Isley brothers, Curtis Mayfield, Bobby Womack.
Yes,
So
yeah.
yeah, so that's good. Another question is, have you ever had any accidents or drumming disasters? I call it.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few. Um, the first one that comes to mind is a gig I was doing. I ended up breaking the skin of the snare, and it was the only snare I had with me. Didn't take a spare, and I thought to myself, "I'll be all right. Let me just flip it around, just smack it that way." And I did that, and ended up breaking that as well. So I was literally left with
No
nothing,
snare at all.
nothing on the snare whatsoever. The other one, I think I broke. Oh, this was even terrible. This was like a 100 Club in London.
Oh, in London.
Yeah, this was
Yeah,
like a blues funk gig. I was
yeah,
really excited to do it. And then as soon as I started playing, literally broke through the head or the skin of my bass drum. And it was literally the first song in the set. So what I had to do was use my right hand and my floor tom as my bass drum, and play everything else with my left hand. So like when you'd go to get, it's like
Yeah.
get get.
Oh,
I had to do that for 45 minutes. It was
oh.
it was not fun.
Isn't that amazing that you can actually, can always like find a solution in case something, because it will take a while to replace the skin of the. Because I've been to a gig where uh, that happened,
Mm.
and fortunately they had like an acoustic set,
Oh right.
like an acoustic song as part of the set.
Oh, so you
So
just
while so while they're having that bass, the skin being replaced, so they were doing, they've changed the set list, so they played the acoustic one.
yeah.
I actually I ended up having that skin
No
with me.
way. What
I
a broken
took it
one.
home with me
No way. That's
as
amazing.
a souvenir, and I got them to sign it as
Oh,
well.
that's amazing. That's
That was
amazing.
just so good. But what do you do with all those things? Like, what did you do with your, like the one that you broke?
What the skin? I was so mad at it. I'm pretty sure I just threw it out. I
You
was
just
so I was so pissed. Oh, because I felt like I didn't get to enjoy the song, like, or the set itself. So
yeah,
I was so vexed. I just chopped it out. But yeah, usually, I try to keep them because you never know. I do have a lot of spare skins lying around
yeah,
because what I try to do is, say for example, like one of my snares, I want to use it for something a bit quiet. So I want to make it sound fat. So I just take an old skin, just chuck it on there, and
yeah,
then crank it as high or as low as I want it to without having to worry about like damaging
yeah,
it. So I like to keep stuff like that just in case. You never know when they'll come in
yeah.
handy.
And do you tune your own kit? So do you have
Hell yeah!
a drum solo, a
That's
drum
not even a question, and that's not a question. And
set?
what's I tune my own kit? What? If a brother tells you to get someone else to do it, they're lazy. They're lazy. Do your own tuning.
Yeah, because I didn't even realize until doing Ask the Drummer that you tune it. Because you know that guitarists, they always tune on stage, like
Yeah,
every song.
yeah.
They've got but I didn't realize that you actually tune the drums as
Yeah.
well. Like, and until I did it, and some, the guest said something that they've got to learn how to tune their own tune their own drum kit. Because I think it is the drum tech who does that, doesn't it?
Oh, see,
You can just play it.
he's clearly been spoiled. He's been living the good life for too long. Good lord. That's crazy. I'm out here thinking I need someone to carry my stuff for me at the moment. He's got someone tuning his kit. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Well, okay, last question for you now, because I know I said it's only going to be for an hour. Advice, because you teach drums, you're a drum tutor. So, what would be your advice to aspiring drummers, or even musicians in general?
Right. Stay curious. That's the thing. Stay very curious. The thing about music is it's always evolving, and as musicians, we always have to be on top of our game. So stay curious. Listen to as much as you can. Like
Yeah,
take in as much material as you can. Listen to everything. All genres of music, because there's always going to be something in there that will inspire you, or that will spark an idea or spark something in you. So just stay curious, keep at it, don't give up, and enjoy doing it. Literally, that's the biggest one. Literally, just have fun.
yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, that is so good. Thank you so much, Tammy. And I
Yeah,
really hope I'll get to see you again.
definitely. I
Um,
hope so
do
too.
let me know if you're doing a gig
I will do.
in Manchester. Then I'll come and see you. So and
Awesome.
look forward to SWJ group, because I did. To be honest, I didn't know it was Stephen Wilson.
I know, right? He's such an undercover. Okay.
Yeah, because when I saw him supporting, I saw Avid Fan
Yeah.
supporting another band in Stockport. I was thinking I was looking at him, I said, I know him from somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's not-
Yeah, it's him, such an undercover.
Yeah. So yeah, do yeah, I'm sure do let us know if you're playing a gig
I will do,
somewhere, and come and see you again. So
definitely.
thank you so much, Tammy. I
No,
really
thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me.
thank you. You take care. Enjoy the rest of the weekend,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you again soon, hopefully.
Thank you, and you too.
Bye,
Bye.
Tammy. See
Bye.
ya.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us live. Yeah, Aiden said great conversation and advice. I do, yeah, totally agree, Aiden. That's very good. Right, it's good to know the SWJ group. Stephen Wilson, I am so sorry. I didn't realize. Okay, right. So, thank you so much. He's so cool, isn't he? He's just such an amazing. I mean, all drummers are cool anyway, but Temmy is just really, really cool. And I think it is good, finding out about gospel music as well. Because I've never been to a church where they have a band playing. Maybe I should go. I don't know, but that would be really, really good. Um, all right, so we'll be back again next week. It's Sunday, and it's going to be a late one next week because I'm going to be once again at a record fair on Sunday. So it'll be an evening one. I think it's 8 o'clock, and we're going to have a special drummer on the show again. So do keep an eye out for the guest announcement post on the Astro Drummer page. But for now, enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a lovely week. Brand new week from tomorrow. And as always, love music, love life, love drummers. I am so happy that Temmy said yes to Ask the Drummer. Thank you so much, Temmy. And hope to see you all again next week. Bye for now. Bye.